Tonight, claims of a secret meeting. The Premier continues to accuse the opposition of playing a part in the protest that shut down the legislature on Monday. Also, we see more and more of them in public. Now, researchers are looking at how service dogs and their handlers are integrating into society. Plus, on the eve of Black Friday, how holiday shopping is shaping up in an uncertain economy.
This is CBC Saskatchewan News.
It is Thursday, November 23rd, and the CBC Saskatchewan News starts right now. Good evening and thank you for watching. It's a number that has advocates and experts shaking their heads. Once again, the latest stats revealed that Saskatchewan has the worst rates of intimate partner violence of all the provinces. Pratush Dayal has the details.
The jaw would set, he would straighten out his back. It got to the point in our relationship.
Brenda Ottenbritt spent her marriage walking on eggshells. She says the abuse she faced left a lasting impact on her.
I went Christmas Eve to New Year's Day with not a word being said to me.
Ottenbritt says her ex-husband had financial control. She wasn't able to pay for basic things herself, including groceries. He also had significant debts that caused more stress.
And CRA froze accounts. And I got a phone call, and I was at a beauty salon, and he was so angry. The technician told me, "We're done, come back tomorrow, you go get your kids out." And we left. I packed 4 children, my kids and I packed in 20 minutes and we left.
It took nearly 9 years to divorce him, even though they were married only for 6. Advocates say Saskatchewan is still seeing a surge in intimate partner violence rates, which are more than double the national average.
Women in the 12 to 24 age group being victimized at really high rates, much higher than teen boys, but also much higher than adult women, 25 and up. So I think this really points to the need for education about intimate partner violence and about healthy relationships for young people.
She says violence against older adults and men are also increasing, but Indigenous women continue to be disproportionately impacted.
That also intersects with the higher rates and the issues we see in rural and northern communities. And there's geographic barriers, there's barriers to services and access, and then of course we have intergenerational trauma and issues related to colonization here.
Frontline groups like Regina Transition House say things have been worsening post-pandemic.
We had received about 1,430 calls to our crisis line for support and assistance. And the year prior, and this year, or this most recent fiscal year, it was over 1,500. Definitely no decline in the amount of need.
Ottenbritt says she's tired of seeing the statistics get worse year after year. She says training and a mandatory education across schools can help.
Where we learn healthy and unhealthy, proper boundaries, and what coercive control looks like, and you teach it in an appropriate manner all the way up, but it's mandatory. So that I know it will be 10, 15 years that we see the change.
Pratish Dayal, CBC News, Saskatoon.
The Saskatchewan government has introduced legislation to protect victims of human trafficking from coerced debt, basically being forced to take out a loan or get a credit card for someone else. The legislation is to prevent lenders from including information about these debts in credit reports and loan applications. The Minister of Justice says she hopes the changes will help those who've been exploited escape financial burden.
This really is about enabling a process whereby a victim can start fresh without the loan implications, the financial dependency, and rebuild her or their life.
The Canadian Centre to End Human Trafficking says Saskatchewan is one of the first provinces to address the financial abuse elements of human trafficking. Premier Scott Moe continues to claim the opposition played a role in Monday's protest, which shut down debate in the legislature. In question period on Thursday, Moe said the NDP held a secret meeting with protest organizers at party headquarters in Regina more than a week ago. Moe says a social media post shows NDP MLAs, including leader Carla Beck, met with the group. The day after the meeting, Beck called for Israeli hostages to be freed by Hamas and for a ceasefire for humanitarian aid in Gaza. Beck says she met with the group and also recently met with members of the Jewish community. She says she had no indication about what protesters intended on Monday.
We have many meetings. One of them was with a group of students who were concerned about what is going on in Israel and Palestine. I take probably hundreds of meetings every month, and none of these meetings are secret. It's it's so transparent, but also incredibly disappointing to see this government. Every time they are on the defense, we see them attack.
On Thursday, government members voted in favor of a motion to have the protest and its origins investigated. A government committee will decide who will do the examination. The legislative security director has also temporarily changed rules for visitors attending question period. Well, the City of Regina's budget woes continue, and now 2 projects that were supposed to revitalize the downtown area have been delayed. Alexander Kwan has more.
The Scarth St Mall is a pedestrian-only space that is in desperate need of an upgrade. But that's unlikely to happen for years due to the effects of inflation and soaring construction costs. The revitalization of Scarth Street was supposed to start next year. So was the transformation of Saskatchewan Drive. But the City of Regina now says those major projects will have to wait and won't begin for at least 4 years in 2027.
As you know, the budget that we've proposed here for this year has forced us into a situation where we have to reconsider some of the timing on these key projects. This isn't really news to folks across Canada.
Both projects are considered priorities according to the city. The aging infrastructure needs to be replaced as the city grows. Still, one business owner on Scarth Street says he doesn't mind the delay. He says the city should focus on things like roads.
Regina Council should prioritize filling potholes in the city rather than spending taxpayers' money on the project which will not be very fruitful. Another business owner says she would still like to see the street changed to allow traffic.
So our couriers complain a lot about it, that it's hard to find the parking lot and they have to pay the parking just to pick up the order. So yeah, I think it will boost our sales.
But along with the other business owners here on Scarth Street and on Saskatchewan Drive, they'll have to wait at least 3 more years until construction gets underway. Alexander Kwan, CBC News, Regina.
Service dogs are becoming more prevalent in society, but there are still many misconceptions about their use. Researchers at the University of Saskatchewan are taking a closer look at how these dogs and their handlers are integrating in society. Dan Plaster has more.
Good boy. Good boy. Mike Richards is an Army veteran. He and his service dog Felix have been together since 2016. Felix helps him with his post-traumatic stress disorder. They have been part of a series of studies at the University of Saskatchewan around service dogs and vets. He says people don't always understand what Felix does.
It's getting a lot better now than when I first got my service dog, but it's still people will come up and they want to pet the service dog and they want, oh, it's a beautiful dog. And the best thing when you see a service dog is to realize that he's invisible.
The value of service dogs for veterans and public awareness is what Lindsay Williamson is studying at the University of Saskatchewan.
And as more people are inviting animals into their lives, into their homes as well, and understanding the benefits of that, I think people are also getting a greater understanding about the interconnectedness between humans, animals, and the environment.
Even with that greater understanding, Richard says interacting with the public can still be stressful.
Come on, Felix. Good boy.
He wants people to recognize the difference between a service dog and a therapy dog.
There's a few different service dogs. Ours has a medical, it's a teal, and he got a medical sign on it, and he got a card on it saying he's certified and I'm certified. And it has do not touch on it.
If you want to approach a service dog and handler, proceed cautiously.
When they approach me, I would just, if they want to talk to me, they can talk to me. But notice that I don't have a dog. Don't talk to my dog. I don't want to pet my dog. And the best thing is not to ask them why you have a service dog or that kind of thing, because it's sometimes people do not. I don't want to talk about that kind of part of my life.
If you do, and you really are, wanting to actually talk to them, be pleasant, be polite, be respectful, and, try to not monopolize their time. And also take the cue. If they're, trying to back up or say, I'm not interested in talking today, just be respectful of that.
Richard says, if in doubt, respect their space. Dan Plaster, CBC News, Regina.
People in Regina's Heritage neighborhood have a new community center. The Municipal Justice Building has been redeveloped and renamed. It's called the Mitakua Uwasa Center. That's the Dakota phrase, which translates to all my relations in English. Sharon Achkute helped choose the name and says it was important that it be Indigenous.
I think it's very, very important for the people, for the Indigenous people that live in the city to feel like they're part of the community, because for many years it was almost like, and I'll say this because it's true, we almost felt like immigrants in our own country. Our history was not recognized. Our contributions to Canada as a whole were never recognized.
Achkute also says the name represents the center's purpose, which is to bring people together. Regina's mayor says the new center will foster bringing diverse community and cultural programming to residents. A live look now at the FW Hill or Scarth St Mall in downtown Regina, where the Regina Downtown Business Improvement District is hosting the 8th annual tree lighting event. Of course, it has to be the coldest night of the week. The tree was lit at 6 o'clock just as we were getting underway, and Santa is down there too. Ethan will join us from the festivities with your forecast just after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back. I would bet your email is full of deals as retailers are ready to kick off Black Friday tomorrow. But customers are trimming their budgets. Nisha Patel takes a look at holiday shopping in an uncertain economy.
This holiday season, shoppers aren't feeling too festive about their finances.
I think we're more mindful of what do we need to give each other as a gift.
So we are only window shopping today, just checking out who's selling what for what discounts.
You can't go shopping the way you used to, right?
From the kids' lengthy wish list to that office secret Santa, spending over the holidays can quickly spiral out of control.
Obviously, those holiday dinners are going to cost quite a bit more this year, as is, domestic travel to visit relatives.
Credit card bills have been climbing. Economists say consumers who are trying not to dig into their savings are choosing to cut back on restaurant meals and vacations.
Canadians are feeling the pressure of high prices and higher interest rates. Experts say that will have a big impact on holiday spending.
According to one survey, the average household is planning to spend about $1,350 overall this season. That's down from more than $1,500 the year before. People also said they are planning to donate less to charity and buy fewer gifts. So retailers like Staples are making an extra effort to attract budget-conscious shoppers.
They're looking for value, they're looking for price consciousness, and they're looking for opportunity to shop early.
Sales started earlier this year and the discounts are deeper, though retailers still promise additional deals on Black Friday. With many shoppers opting to choose cheaper items, businesses are stocking a bigger variety of products.
So what we're trying to do is give them options from end to end across all price ranges.
Alan Kaitas was glad to find some 50% off signs at the mall. He's had to tighten his belt this year.
I mean, with 3 kids, we're trying to make the best out of it, right? With some good deals. Hopefully we can have a good Christmas this year.
Even the inflation Grinch won't dash his holiday spirit. Nisha Patel, CBC News, Toronto.
This weather update is brought to you by Crestview Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, proud member of the Capital Automotive Group.
And speaking of holiday spirit, our weather specialist Ethan Williams joins us now from the elements in downtown Regina. And of course, the tree lighting is on one of the coldest days of the week.
One of the coldest days, Sam, but you know what, I'm quite surprised. We have quite the crowd that's come out here tonight for the 8th annual event down here in downtown Regina. The tree is lit, as you can see, and they got some fire pits to warm people up here too. There's even some horse-drawn carriage rides, and yes, Santa arrived just mere moments ago. He is greeting the kids as we speak now. But yeah, a little on the chilly side tonight. Let's take a look at our current conditions, and a lot of those sitting around -10 or so at the moment through a lot of south and central. Those temperatures moderating again. Southwestern Saskatchewan usually a little bit warmer, but joining the rest of us in some pretty frigid conditions as we head through the night tonight. And factor in a little bit of a wind chill, feeling more down into those -teens, -20s in some parts of the province, and those are likely only going to continue to drop as we head through the night. For Regina and for southeastern Saskatchewan, a cold one tonight with lows between -20 and 25, and the wind chill likely making that feel closer to -30. But the good news is, as we head into tomorrow, a good chunk of the southern half of the province getting a nice warm up, and maybe even some temperatures getting above the freezing mark. Now, as we head through these next couple of days, our jet stream, of course, showing that we are going to get some of that warmer air, that ridge beginning to build in. That trough is off to our east and isn't too deep, so that Arctic air should be mostly staying to our north as we go through the rest of the weekend into the weekend. The other thing that's helping kind of warm things up, I suppose, is that area of high pressure that you see there going to begin to move out through the night tonight. That does bring some cloud cover back to portions of northern Saskatchewan, but south and central should stay mostly clear as we head through the night. Heading into Saturday, though, a bit of a system moving in from the north, and that'll bring some snow to northern and eastern portions of the province, and maybe even a little bit of mixed precipitation at times in west central Saskatchewan, but that quickly moves on by, returning us to some sunshine as we head into Sunday morning. General amounts probably between 2 and 4 centimeters. There is a swath that could be upwards of 5 centimeters in the area from around Uranium City through to the south end area. But as you see there on the map, heavier amounts likely going to be in Manitoba and northwestern Ontario. Winds will pick up a little bit in advance of the system as we head through tomorrow in eastern sections, gusting between 30 and 40. And then as we head into Saturday, that's when we see those gusts upwards of 50, maybe even a little bit more than that as we head into northern Saskatchewan as we get into the first part of the weekend. So for Regina, yeah, that warm-up's pretty dramatic as we head even into tomorrow. A high of -3, looking for a temperature near freezing Saturday. Bit of a cold spell as we head into Sunday, but then back into the above seasonal conditions as we head into Monday and Tuesday. For Saskatoon, we might just hit freezing tomorrow and even get above that as we head into Saturday. Sunday, Monday, back down to more seasonal conditions. Tuesday, Wednesday, we're back above freezing and in the sunshine. And if you're coming down here tonight, Sam, I should say Santa is inside greeting the kids, so you'll be extra warm that way.
All right. Thanks, Ethan. Today, Premier Scott Moe joined with family and friends of the late Thomas Molloy for the unveiling of the former Lieutenant Governor's official portrait at the Legislative Building in Regina. The portrait was commissioned from the distinguished Canadian portrait artist Cyril Leeper. Provincial Secretary Don Morgan officially accepted the portrait into the building's art collection and will hang in the Legislative Building's Coppell Gallery. Thomas Molloy served as Saskatchewan's 22nd Lieutenant Governor from March of 2018 until his passing in July of 2019. We'll be back after the break.
When it comes to your news, you want up-to-the-minute access. Anytime, anywhere. Get the facts straight from the source. Download the free CBC News app or visit cbcnews.ca for news you can trust.
Welcome back. The FBI has confirmed that yesterday's dramatic vehicle explosion at the Rainbow Bridge in Niagara Falls, New York, was not linked to terrorism. 2 people were killed and a border guard was injured in the incident. It happened at one of the busiest crossings between Canada and the United States, and the bridge has now reopened. Adil Musa has the latest.
Police in western New York State are combing through what little is left behind after a fiery car crash Wednesday abruptly closed the Rainbow Bridge, linking Niagara Falls, Ontario to Niagara Falls, New York. The car on the American side of the bridge suddenly accelerated before flying through the air and exploding into flames. For some, thoughts immediately turned to the possibility of terrorism.
The hair in the back of my neck stood up, and I thought, here we go again.
In the chaos that followed, the Prime Minister and the U.S. President were briefed. 3 other nearby crossings were also closed. The FBI now confirms no explosive materials were found at the scene. Local police have taken over what's being called a traffic investigation. But on this American Thanksgiving weekend, a normally busy travel time left this unusual sight: the Rainbow Bridge empty.
All of a sudden, everybody's holiday plans were halted when the borders closed, and everybody shuttered.
The holiday would normally pack this Indian restaurant on the Canadian side of the border.
I feel so miserable. I don't know what's happening. All of a sudden, the Niagara Falls has nothing in here. This is the weekend when we get so busy. It's Thursday, Thanksgiving weekend, and nobody's around. I'll say by the table-wise, yes, 15, 20 tables at this time. I should have it, yes.
Police say the vehicle was incinerated in the crash. The 2 occupants are dead. American media is reporting they were a local Western New York couple. Idil Musa, CBC News, Niagara Falls, Ontario.
And Ethan's back with one last look at your weather.
Yeah, we're looking at a bit of a chilly one tomorrow morning in Regina, Sam. Let's take a look at our conditions at 8 a.m. Minus 16, and with a little bit of wind, that's likely going to be feeling a little into the minus 20s. As we head through the afternoon, though, we are looking at temperatures very quickly warming up. Minus 6, actually, at the noon hour in Regina. That sunshine sticking around. For Saskatoon, we're starting around minus 11 with some sunshine, and look at that, by the noon hour, at minus 3, could get to the freezing mark by the middle of the afternoon. And if you're coming down here tonight for the RDBID tree lighting in downtown Regina, we're looking at minus 14 by 8 o'clock with a wind chill making that feel closer to minus 18, Sam. But there are tons of activities down here tonight to make you feel nice and warm. And of course, a visit from Santa as well always warms the heart.
No one can say no to Santa. Thanks, Ethan. And before we leave you tonight, Agribition Rodeo has a brand new brand ambassador that you'll see around events thanks to the crowning of the 2023 Miss Rodeo Agribition.
It means so much, and I'm super excited. I've had nothing but smiles the whole time I've been doing this, and it's definitely a memory I will never forget.
Ariana Dick will hold the title for the year. The 19-year-old from White City was up against 2 other women in the first year of the contest. Dick says it's a dream for her that she grew up watching rodeo queens being crowned. The women were judged on an interview, horsemanship, public speaking, and a written exam about Canadian rodeo history and rules, personality, and appearance. You'll see Miss Rodeo around events for the next year, including Canada Day, Country Thunder, and the QCX Pile of Bones Rodeo. And that is it for us tonight. For news anytime, you can always head to our website, subscribe to the CBC Saskatchewan YouTube channel, or download the CBC News app. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great night.